Okay, everybody, we're going to go through some basic strategies to help set up your settings following the upgrade. First thing you're going to want to do is go to Tools, Preferences, and review your preferences to make sure everything is correct. First thing that you'll want to jump into is Templates, and make sure that in this area that says Default Template, you've selected this NLHC FTS SOAP 17. Additionally, you may want to go in and make sure that your default printer for prescriptions has been set. You can go in here and pick from the drop-down menu. And at this point, I think that's all you need to do for settings. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is go back in and review your configuration for your medications module. You can click here to get into your medications module when you're in a patient's chart. As you can see, there are several columns that have been configured here, and you can set to your own preferences. I would suggest looking closely at this configuration, as this offers me the best workflow. You can change your grid preferences by clicking up here by the cogwheel, and then you can set your columns to display. I would suggest having it set up in at least this fashion. However, this is completely customizable to the provider themselves. If you want to add or remove any columns, you can do so by clicking available columns and adding to the display columns, and vice versa by clicking the display columns and removing back to the available columns. Once you've got this set up with the columns you want, you can then rearrange them by just clicking and dragging them. You can also adjust your column width by sliding back and forth to better fit your screen resolution. If you have any questions regarding this, feel free to get in hold of me. And that's it for configuring your medications module. Next, I want to review some of the new features on the info bar. With the current upgrade version of 8.4 and 5.9, you can see here that the info bar has moved our hot links below the patient picture. Now to send an email, start a telephone call, create a to-do item, or track with the patient, you can use these hot links. Additionally, you'll see that the NextMD link has been switched to Patient Portal. We now have an icon that identifies whether the patient is enrolled. There's also going to be an exclamation point next to this if there is a problem and the patient has not fully completed enrollment. If you see that the icon is gray, that means the patient has not been enrolled. Additionally, you'll see that the buttons on top have been rearranged slightly, and the badges next to them have changed to blue color. By hovering over these, you can easily see what lies within each of these modules, and by single clicking you can then open the module. For example, I have opened the medication module by clicking there. The new button that's up here is the appointments button. If there is a future appointment scheduled, you'll see a number on the badge, and by hovering over you'll be able to quickly see when their upcoming appointment is scheduled. Finally, you've got a hot link to the lab results. Right here, by single clicking, you can go into the patient's labs and very quickly review results. From here, you can then click into the orders module, and from there you can then order additional labs. In future updates, we will have available clinical quality measures for the patient, which you'll be able to get to by clicking here. I'll have an updated video for that coming in the future. So that is about all you need to know for the new changes to the info bar with the recent upgrade. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about quickly is some updates to the SOAP note. You'll see under this template set that we've got some new changes to the patient's view. You can see the contagion risk, which is a new template that pops up. If you click here, you can identify if the patient has been traveling recently to a high-risk area for contagious diseases. This will be especially important for checking in patients who have been out of the country. Next, you'll see that you can assign a care team to this patient. We will set these up within Nextgen to be able to identify individual patient care teams, and by doing that you'll then be able to select from this menu the care team and all the providers and members that are associated with that care team. This is an item that's going to become important with CPC Plus in the future. The other thing I'd like you to note quickly is that you do have a very quick hot link to the patient education anywhere from within the patient's chart. By clicking on left nav, you can click on patient education, and it will identify recommended searches for information that will give you credit for education for the patient. For example, this patient had GERD diagnosed today. Clicking on one of these items, such as anemia, can then print some associated educational materials. You can also click on several and pick a cart full of information that then can be sent to the patient's portal, can be printed together or saved to the encounter. By doing that, you can see this information was saved, and you'll get numerator credit for educating the patient on various disease processes or medications. Scrolling down in the assessment and plan, you'll be able to see now we have a new diagnosis AP history window. We can use this to copy and paste material from previous visits, and when we do this, information will be transferred over to today's encounter. And you can continue to do this until you've completed what you want for this visit. Overall, the look and layout of this SOAP note has not changed much. If you identify any problems or have any other questions regarding the layout, please let me know.